All right. So, welcome to the first episode of The Perspective, where we break down last week's LCS and we enter you into the new week and usher you into the next era of esports as far as League of Legends goes. That is, I am the fantasy gamer, and my compadre over here on this side actually is Night Kid.
So you tried to point?
Yeah, I tried to point. It was bad. It was really bad.
Smart.
I've been playing this game since around Season 2. Not the best player, but I work in data analysis, and my best thing that I'm good at is looking at things and being able to analyze them, whereas my compadre over here is a lot better at this game, and can give insight on how the game should be played. So, Kevin, I'll let you introduce yourself.
You just kind of did, but
yeah. All right.
I am the Night Kid.
Okay. So, main things we're going to go over today is the first thing we're going to talk about is last week's game review. So, looking at the first thing, so out of last week's, the thing that surprised me the most was not necessarily the CLG win, but more the TSM win over 100 Thieves. I felt like 100 Thieves wasn't really showing what they should have done. It was a very lackluster gameplay, and they basically got dumpstered by what I thought was a very terrible TSM team coming into the week.
Well, I'd say TSM was doing poorly coming into the week, but it's still TSM, and they still got the new members. So I wasn't too surprised with 100 Thieves losing to them after they get a win over Golden Guardians, who's kind of an easy pickup. They get a little bit of momentum. 100 Thieves has been showing up well, but they've been showing up against decent teams. Like, I don't think they haven't beat Fox. They haven't played Fox. They haven't played C9. They haven't played Liquid.
They beat Liquid. They beat Liquid last week.
They beat Liquid last week?
Yeah, that was Liquid's first loss.
Liquid's first loss. Okay. But still, they definitely have a good team, and they've been showing up well, but TSM definitely has the stronger roster. So, I mean, I would say I was surprised if, like, TSM didn't have the roster they have, but it's not surprising to see TSM get it together sooner or later and win.
Yeah, so I guess like the question about TSM is you have all these star players, and it's whether or not they can be cohesive and how long it's going to take. And, like, the problem is like I don't think they really thought about the coordination or the cohesiveness of the team when they got the players. They just like, okay, Reggie was like, we're going to get these 5-star players. They're all really freaking good, which they've done in the past. And it's either, it always works out for them. But with how shuffled the rosters are this season, I feel like a lot of teams have more talent than they're usually used to having. So I don't think TSM's going to be able to do more than what they're doing now. I really felt like this weekend was a fluke. Other than the Golden Guardians one, I feel like they should not have won against 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves played terribly.
I don't think you'll see TSM. You'll see TSM winning Summer Split most likely. They have the roster. Sven and Mithy will get into doing well, and Mike Young does fine. Mike Young, if he doesn't perform, they can always swap him out for somebody else. But Bjergsen and Hans are proving themselves fine. Like it's just like everybody was making fun of.
Like Hans is gonna get trashed mid-season. He's gonna die out.
He's one of the best top laners. He's always been.
But since he
came in,
he's one of the best
top laners.
We have Someday. You have Huni to go up against. You have all the Impact.
He beats Someday. He beats. Impact's probably pretty even with him. I've never been impressed by Impact yet. Huni's on and off, impressive wise, but Hanser's definitely up there in the top laners.
What do you think about Licorice?
I think Licorice has played well, but he didn't show up well this last week.
I think he's the best mechanical top laner, honestly. He might not have the macro yet, but I feel like he plays the champions very well, and he understands laning phrase, and he knows what his champion can do. The rest will come later.
That's a we'll see, because he's only been in there for a few weeks. Like, he's played 6 games, and he's played poorly in 2 of them, really well in 2 of them, and then mediocre in 2 of them. So we'll see. I think he's a good top laner. I think he'll be all right, but I don't think he stacks up against Hanser at all.
That's another thing. Like looking at the franchising, I feel like TSM, if they don't keep up the winning spirit of TSM, they're going to do a nosedive halfway through their season or halfway through the franchise history, because all they keep doing is picking a roster full of star players that they have so much to like study on. They've been in so many different leagues. They know they're amazing.
Yeah.
Whereas when you look at a team like C9 or even somewhat CLG, C9 and CLG aren't scared of grabbing somebody from like, Challenger or from a completely different
Yeah.
scene they haven't seen before, and then somehow like Licorice or like Contracts or like Sneaky when he came up, somehow bam, they're now really good. So I think
Yeah, when
Licorice is going to be like
they can get good.
he's going to be
But
they can get good, yeah.
TSM's going to keep up. You got to think of any other sport. There aren't many teams who
The New York Yankees.
win. They don't win. They don't win off of their rookies. Is what I'm saying. Think about
Yeah.
Miami Heat. Everybody's like, oh look, they got Chris Bosh and LeBron James, and they're still losing at the beginning of the season. Ha, they're losing a bunch of games, and then they fucking win out the rest of the half of the season, and then
I feel like
win a couple championships. And
this
the same with the Golden State Warriors. Just taking the best of the best is how people win, and that's what TSM has. And they fumble a little bit because the cohesion's not there, but then it picks up, and I think they'll be fine.
I say this year's TSM, or at least this split, the spring splits TSM, is Dream Team Miami Heat that year when they got D Wade, when they got D Wade, LeBron, they got like their star team. But that team that year they didn't do shit because their team, like they were all stars. They needed to get cohesive. Next year they killed it.
That's most likely what they still came up at the end of the season and made the playoffs, but that's so hard in basketball. Anyway, TSM is going to end up doing okay this split. They'll still be in the playoffs for the split, and then they'll probably win the next split, is what I'm thinking.
Okay, so
unless Team Liquid is also up there.
What do you think about the Echo Fox CLG? Because I was totally expecting Echo Fox to at least win the game, maybe not get.
I thought Echo Fox might win, but that's just because they hadn't had a loss, and they look decent, but against lesser teams and a weaker TSM and stuff like that.
That's true. That's true.
I don't think Echo Fox is a top tier team. I think they'll be more in the middle of the pack in the future.
So have you been hearing the phrase? You've been hearing the phrase about like Echo Fox is the implosion team. Either they'll win a lot and they'll explode to the top, or they'll lose once and then they'll implode.
No, I haven't heard that yet.
Adrian jumped between so many teams last year. Dardoch jumped, and they all had what quote unquote issues with their behind the scene, out of game issues with like personal team issues, where I guess Dardoch didn't mesh.
I think they all just have okay players. Like Adrian looked really good. I thought he was one of the better ones, but that was like Jana meta, and he had a really good KDA, but that's not the meta anymore, and he's a middle of the pack support. And Hooney's a good top laner, but he's been swapped around so much too. Like if he's gonna leave, if they're gonna boot him off of SKT, that means SKT saw something that other people aren't seeing. Like they don't want him on the team for a reason. Like if he's the best top laner, then SKT is gonna try their hardest to keep him, but they didn't care.
Okay.
They got two new top laners. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then you think about that. Did SKT get rid of him, or was it the contract got up? Hooney was like, "I'm gonna go make more money in A," and now SKT doesn't have Hooney, and now SKT's getting dumpstered in LCK right now.
With somebody like SKT, they have enough money. It doesn't matter if they wanted to keep Hooney, they would have kept Hooney. Okay. That's what I'm saying. He didn't move here for more money because SKT would have given him to it if they thought he was worth it, but they didn't. Now people like TSM having to get, or Cloud9 having to get rid of people that were a little bit better, they might just not have the money to keep them. They might have lost somebody that they thought was better, but they get a cheaper option instead.
Well, unlike other teams,
that's what they can afford.
Yeah, unlike other teams, Cloud9 has a big name in multiple different esports teams, so they put a lot of money in a vast variety. Whereas Echo Fox, Echo Fox is like all in LCS, and TSM's all in LCS. They have other teams, but their money goes there.
But C9 has Impact, they had Impact, who was one of the better top laners, definitely, and he left for a bigger contract, and C9 couldn't afford it.
Yeah, that was.
It's not like they could. It's not like they could afford it, but they were like, Hooney's not good enough for us to buy him for that much. I think they got rid of Hooney because they were like, or rid of Impact because they wanted to keep him, but the
just
price
didn't,
got too much.
didn't quite fit with what they needed.
They're like, we can get Licorice and be fine. But
Yeah.
SKT, I think with Hooney was like, he's not good enough for that much money, or even less than that much money. He can go to NA and make more. Like I said, with a team like Echo Fox, who sees him as like a premier top laner, and he is good, but he's probably getting paid way more than he's worth.
Yeah. So like looking at last week, this is basically a stats graphic that I pulled up from NA LCS. And so just a couple interesting topics here is that like the longest game was Clutch versus 100 Thieves, two kind of middle of the pack teams. And
well, 100 Thieves at that point only had like one loss, so they were supposed to be a higher. But I think 100 Thieves will end up being middle of the pack. But it makes sense that that's a longer game because they match up really well, and it should be like that.
It should be, yeah. And then of course, definitely, we all suspected that the shortest game was going to be Team Liquid Golden Guardians because Golden Guardians haven't shown anything.
Well, Team Liquid also has they have the shortest game average. Also, they've been shortest game average wins. I think the loss that they took was a longer game, but their wins have been the shortest wins in NALCS. And then bloodiest game, that makes, again, it's two teams that are, I think, closer in skill level.
Okay. So a couple of things that stuck out to me a little bit looking at this was Rainover's KDA. It was weird because I've watched a couple streams of him and the way he plays. He's very aggressive, and he's also been very aggressive this whole split, like we saw with the first Cloud9 game, how he kept dumpstering on Licorice the whole time. And he's done that frequently through all his jungle paths. He was the first one to take Rengar this split in NA. And so it's kind of like he's doing this high risk, high reward, maybe a high risk, low reward kind of play. And it's benefiting them now, but I don't see how that's going to fit into the meta as we're seeing a lot more tanks. And looking at the new patch, which we'll talk about a little bit later, it's highly favoring more AP junglers and AP assassin junglers. Like Echo should be a really big deal this next patch because the runes they're completely changing the runes. They're changing some of the active timings and then like Death Cap's getting like an extra, I think, 25 AP on it. And so is Void Staff. So if you are a jungler, which right now AP junglers are crazy with the way the runes set up, now they're boosting the AP items. And somebody like Echo who can go like a tank AP assassin, I feel like he definitely should be meta. I feel like also Echo's he's a good jungle bully.
I'll have to look at the updates.
Yeah.
You're not talking about the patch that came out today, right?
I'm talking about the patch that came out today.
Yeah, they didn't do anything to Echo at all, so I don't see him.
No, they didn't do anything to Echo. But the way that the jungle meta has been shifting towards this assassin, and then Evelyn was so high priority with that different damage type of an assassin, the AP assassin. Echo is that AP assassin, but he can also be tanky if he needs to be. And then he can use all these items. He can get in and get out. And I just feel like he works better in this new patch that's going to come out.
It's possible, but I don't see a rise in it unless they start playing it in LCS or something like that. You won't just see people pick up Echo because there's nothing happened to him, and he just has been. I think I've seen one jungle Echo maybe in 250 games this season. So it's hard for people to just pick stuff back up if there's no focus on that specific champion for a buff or anything like that. But
interesting enough,
it's possible.
Looking at this, and you see the most deaths. The two most deaths of this last week were both from FlyQuest.
Well, they were talking about when they put in Shrimp. They're like, Keen and Shrimp work well together because they were on Dignitas last year. They died together very well. It makes sense. I think FlyQuest, I think they got a couple okay wins, but you're not, it's just like last season. You're like, oh, FlyQuest might be good. I like FlyQuest. And then they just flop completely, and they'll definitely be at the bottom. Then Optic Gaming, Lemonation, I think it makes sense. Optic Gaming, I think, is one of the lower tier teams, and they were also in the bloodiest game, so it makes sense that Lemonation had quite.
It does make sense, but then also like when you look at it, Lemonation has been known to be he's always he's always playing a frontline tank, not necessarily a tank or a frontline support. Even if he's playing Morg, he's in the front trying to get a pick. He's always putting himself out there. Kind of like Smoothie in a sense, because it's that Cloud9-esque style where the support is a support and they come in to save everybody's life, or they're setting up the play. They have that Afremu style of I'm making the play. But it just doesn't really work on Optic because unlike with other teams, I don't really feel there's a threat of follow-up. Like there's nobody good enough that won their lane.
No, I don't think Optic. That's one of the
it.
reasons he's dying a lot. He's just not on a great team, and he hasn't been for a while now. And then the crazy thing is the highest kill participation, 3 people with 100%, 2 of them are 80 carries, which means nothing happened or anywhere else. No good jungle game, nothing. Yep. It was all that, and then high makes a little bit more sense because it's a mid lane. He gets ganks.
Well, he's known to have that. Roams. He's like having high. They say the high shot calling is like a global ult.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure
high global ult.
Pretty sure he played Talia and roamed top and bottom too, so it makes sense that he's 100%. But like I said, 280 carries being 100%, but it's on Optic who lost, so they didn't get a lot of kills, and it's on Golden Guardians who also didn't get a lot of kills, so it makes sense. Okay. Let's move on to the season standings, which I think are going to change a lot. Cloud9 in first. I think Cloud9 will stay up. Team Liquid will stay up.
1 or 2. I think the way Cloud9's looking, they're going to say 1 and 2. I think Liquid, Echo Fox, and 100 Thieves are the ones that are going to be like, I don't know.
I think Liquid's fine. Liquid has a good team and they've been playing really well. And I think they'll stay in the top 3 for sure. Echo Fox is going to bump out of there. Definitely. 100 Thieves you're going to see go more around the middle of the pack. And it's going to be kind of like it's always been. You'll see TSM and CLG will both move up. So it's going to be Cloud9, Liquid, CLG, and TSM are going to be in the top 4. Which is kind of funny because they're 4 of the 5 teams that are
the only ones coming
LCS,
back.
Which
they're coming back.
It makes sense. It makes sense that that's the way it would be.
Yeah.
100 Thieves might surprise you, but I think they're going to be more in the middle. Clutch, FlyQuest, Optic, and Golden Guardians, they're going to stay low. They're definitely Clutch might move up a little bit.
Yeah,
I think Golden Guardians has. I think Lorlo's a decent top laner, but Team Liquid got rid of him for a reason, for sure. But I definitely think he's one of the better people on the team. Deftly, I think he was on like a challenger team last year. I don't think he deserves to be there. I never thought Matt was a great.
Oh God, no, Matt.
Support.
Matt was half the reason Team Liquid lost last split.
Yeah,
from my point of view.
I think Contracts is also a good player, but he's not in
a good team to help his playstyle right now. Like he has that Reignover-esque playstyle.
There are plenty of players who are like, I'm on the team, so the team's good. You know what I mean? And he's not bringing the best out of it. And because you don't know, because C9 was really good last year. Was it because of Contracts, or was Contracts looking good because of the people around him?
That's true.
And that's what it's looking like now with him on the Golden Guardians. Yeah. And then who's Golden Guardians mid laner?
That's High. It's High.
Yeah, and again, like High was on FlyQuest. He's not on Cloud9 anymore for a reason. He's been jungle, he's been support, he's been every role. So is High actually good enough to be on a team because it's the Golden State Warriors team? They got money. They got plenty of money to bring in good players, but why would you pick like I said, Lorlo's like the biggest pick. I think you pick a rookie jungler, you pick High who's been in for a long time, but put him in mid lane and said that you should have put him support if you want a shot caller. There's no reason to have him
in such a crucial role for the team.
I don't think he's bad.
He's just never been mechanically good in mid lane though.
He doesn't match up with everybody else, and he'll have good games and he'll look really good once in a while, but he's been in the game a long time and knows what he's doing, so put him support if you want to pay him to do that, and then get a big name mid laner. Like all the people from Europe, like you should have gotten Power of Evil with the money you have.
Well, there was a guy who said that there's no reason that High and Lorelo should even have been on this team. It's an all NA team, but if you really wanted to build a team that had an opportunity of growing or even competing, Hylissang and Vizicsacsi were looking for NA teams to get onto. You definitely could have pulled over some better talent from it, and you had the spots.
I think Lorlo's as good as Vizicsacsi, honestly. Yeah. But Hylissang probably better than Matt. But you could take anybody. You offer them enough money.
Yeah.
You could take anybody.
You-
It's not
you
like
have-
there's
you
no
have that
cap in
Warriors
League of
money.
Legends right now.
Yeah, you have that
can put as
Warriors
much
money.
as you want into it.
Take that Warriors money. Take some of Steph Curry's money and put it into it.
Exactly. Just a little bit of it. Just a little bit.
So like, but my thing looking at
Yeah,
this,
Blitz, they're garbage.
another thing to look in this. I can't. I have the presentation at the screen, so I can't see my chat if there's anybody in there anyway. But another thing is like with that high, you definitely could tell that they wanted high in there to kind of build their team, give this veteran input to kind of coach all these young guys. Now they lost. Now that
put
they
him in
lost
support or make him the coach.
So yeah,
one of those.
The next thing, they just lost Loco Doco, and it's not really working out. Pull high, bring up your mid laner, or pull a mid laner from one of the academy teams. And right now, you could probably bargain with any team and say, "Hey, can we have your academy mid laner? We'll pay you this much money for
you can get Golden Glue. You can grab Golden Glue, and Golden Glue has played with Lorlo plenty.
Yeah, and then you get a Blaze Olive, the number 1 pick that's in the TSM academy. He's also there. And then you pull high out, put him in that coaching position, see if he can work in that position. He's not going to be able to have that macro-esque or that micromanaging gameplay that he's known for, but I feel like even still he could give beneficial advice. You know, maybe if he's not like the head coach or an assistant, maybe an assistant coach. But I just don't think he's working in that position with all those young people because he's used to having a lot better lanes. Like his lanes are dominating and then he's controlling them. But these lanes aren't winning and he's trying to control them and they can't do it.
Yeah, for this split they're probably going to stay
definitely
at the bottom. I'd say the last 4 will stay there and you'll see TSM CLG move up. Echo Fox and 100 Thieves move down.
0-18.
No, they'll pick up a win against Fly, Optic, or Clutch. Well, they're definitely going to pick. They're going to pick up a win. This season.
I think Clutch is better than what we think they are because I feel like 100 Thieves is going to drop. I feel like 100 Thieves is going to be in that 5th place, 6th place position, right? I think Clutch might get close enough to threaten. They might not do it, but they might threaten 100 Thieves for that spot.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, all those teams are too close. 100 Thieves, Clutch, FlyQuest, Optic Gaming, Golden Guardians, they're all very close in the skill level of their teams.
I would put CLG
once
in
they
that.
work together, it's possible.
I'd put CLG in that mix too.
They've always been the surprising team. Like, wow, they look like they suck, but they have a surprisingly good record.
Did you hear?
So I mean, I think they're gonna stay like that probably. Team Liquid's the outbreak that I thought wasn't going to do well at all, and they're doing really well, and I think they'll keep doing well because they work well together.
Yeah.
And Cloud9's probably going to lose a couple more matches. I think they're good.
Yeah.
But I think none of the games I've watched of Cloud9 have been like
convincing.
Wow, they're so good. Like, holy crap, they're good. It's just like, oh yeah, they're going to win. They won, but yeah, definitely not convincing.
Yeah, I mean they're still working with some things. They definitely got to work on some synergy with the new jungler / top combo. But looking at this again though, I just had something I was going to say. Oh, you know, like the CLG thing where if you listen to Jad, he said if you could predict CLG to lose, which every CLG fan does halfway through the season, like, oh, they're shit, and then they're going to lose. Next thing you know, they start winning like the second half of their games.
Yeah.
But like, the good thing with the Team Liquid is like I thought the same thing. I thought, okay, you have all these all-star people, they're not going to mesh.
I mean, it's not a lot of all-star people either, though. It's not a lot of all-stars.
A lot of people would consider Pobelter, which even other mid laners consider Pobelter one of the best mid laners, if not the best in NA.
Yeah, but I always thought
you got Impact, Double Lift.
Previously to this year, I thought Pobelter was good, but not in the top 2-3 mid laners.
Same.
Impact, same thing.
Same.
Not in the top 2-3. Double Lift was always considered really good, but he, like a lot of TSM fans and people blame him for why they didn't win, but he blames other people. I didn't think he was that great in that position either. So top, bot, and mid, I thought they were just okay. Like, they are definitely good players, but definitely not the best, but they're showing up to be the best.
Yeah, my thing is it's like this collective of almost the best or almost really good.
Yeah.
And then we all equal out to being really good together.
Well, Pobelter is godly this season.
Oh God,
He
yeah.
has gone off ridiculous. Looks really good. Rainover, or no, not Rainover.
Who was it?
Their
God.
jungler X Smithy. Right.
Yes.
I never thought X Smithy was that good. He always got made fun of. He didn't even play last year on any team, I don't think. And
I think he was
so
on the
I thought,
Challenger team.
yeah. So that's why he wasn't on NA LCS. So I was like, man, they brought him back. I don't know, like he might be washed up. And then Ollie, the support, I never thought Ollie was that great. I was like,
Ole,
oh,
yeah, he's
he's all right. You know what I mean? But he was on Immortals, wasn't he?
yeah,
So
and
he still did well with Cody's son, but I never saw Ollie being like the reason Cody's son did well.
speaking of
But like I
which,
said, they all come together and they're all looking good. So
if you have
I
not
think
seen the
Team Liquid will
double,
stay up.
you haven't seen like the double lift or the Team Liquid's any other videos where they have double lift and Ole their vlog together. It's like the most bromancy thing ever. For some reason, they get along really well. And Ole's
I saw some of it. They were talking about
Ole's like the
Ole
side.
not understanding double lift, making fun of him and stuff. And
He's
he's
like-
like, "Why do you say such hurtful things?" And he's like, "No, I'm playing around."
He's like the side chick, you know. He's like
I thought-
double lift's like stay in your zone. He's like, no, I just want a hug though. He's like, no,
Yeah.
stay in your lane.
That was
But
really good.
yeah. So
Let's move down to week 4.
hold on. That brings us into the NA LCS news. So what was the biggest thing that we saw that happened last week? One of the things that I would want to talk about is going into the Golden Guardians change. This kind of works off of my talk that I said, where they could just move high to the coaching position. Not a lot of people know Akiri or Tyler Perrin, but he's always been in the scene. He's been around a lot, and he actually was a positional coach for a while. He was back around the time when like Mark Z was coaching ADCs for most teams. But I don't think he works well as a head coach, or I don't know, maybe he does. But so the biggest thing that we want to talk about, so looking at this, Locodoco was removed from his position by the Golden Guardians for quote-unquote sexual comments made to a Riot employee previous of an interview that he was supposed to take that was going to be live streamed during the NALCS last week. That brought up a lot of confusion. A lot of people were like, oh, they just dumpstered Locodoco because they're doing so bad, which made me think about, okay, you know, it ends up not being that, but it makes you think about like how much do you blame the coach for how bad the team is doing? And then there's a lot of different talk shows, a lot of people who have discussed this exact same thing. I don't think you can blame the coach for how bad the team is doing in game, but I think if you can obviously tell that the team is already distraught or torn up once they get in there, or you can see that there's some cohesion issues, that is the coach's fault. Because he's supposed to be back there saying, okay, we did this wrong, but here's how we can do this, but in a constructive way, not like you guys are fucking trash. You guys got dumpstered. I have no clue what the fuck I'm supposed to do with you guys. You should have done it this way.
Well, I don't know. I don't think a coach has hardly any influence on the game and shouldn't have that much influence. I think the players know better. Like if you're a coach, you're coaching because you're not good enough at the game to be sitting in their chairs. Like
Ooh.
then you have people who could be coaches like High. Like we're sitting here saying High could be the coach. Why doesn't High coach? Because you don't need a coach. You can have somebody who can play and coach at the same time because there's no need for that. Because as a coach, you might be like, okay, we're going to take this pick into that pick, and the players know better
by what they want to play. Yeah, but my thing is
at least the player on the team knows the team better than the coach. I think the coach's role should be like hyping them up a little bit, like getting them in the zone to play, like when to practice, how to practice, different stuff like that, and knowing the game really well and making suggestions, not telling them exactly who to pick and do stuff like that. I think the coach has too big of a role right now, but it should be more on the players. What I liked a couple years ago, I remember the coach for CLG was getting them like in the gym and not just playing League all the time, but actually exercising, and that gets you in a better mental state. It makes you feel better. Just a bunch of stuff that exercising does, and I think that's a good coaching move, and that has some influence. But for League of Legends, like leave it to the League of Legends pros to do that also.
Yeah. I just think, you know, on the pros know what they need to play, but then you get that stubborn person like Hooney, Like with his old coach in SKT, he's like, no, you're not going to play Lucian top. It doesn't fit in our meta. But he's like, no, I want to play it. Like, you need somebody to kind of control that. And I honestly, if I was on a team, I need that authoritative figure, like that person who's the coach, who whatever he says is what needs to go. Like if I had
Yeah,
high, like my
but
teammates telling me not to do something, it's like, well I gotta listen to
that's
you.
well, it's called a team captain. You don't have to have a coach. You have a team captain. High knows better than everybody else on the team, but a good coach will take suggestions like, why do you think Lucian's really good? And then the cat, like I said, you take in, and then you either decide to let him do it because you think he knows what he's doing, or you tell him I don't think that's a good idea. And then it just becomes a told you so. Hooney does well, told you so, coach. Hooney does poorly, told you so, Hooney.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's just what it becomes. And like I said, you don't need a coach for that. You can just have a team captain, the shot caller, whatever, do the same thing. And like I said, the coach can help with suggestions, but they should never have the final word on what champion you're playing or anything like that into certain things, because it's not like the coach knows better than the player, I don't think.
Do you think that we could ever get to that point in the LCS where we're like esports in general? Let's say CSGO. We have our coach standing behind the players the whole game, and from a macro perspective, tells them, okay, we need to position this way, move here. Blah, blah, blah.
If you wanted to have the coach have a bigger influence, you would. The problem with League, and even with CS, I don't know how they get past it for things, but in League, like part of the skill is looking at your mini map, making sure you're not getting ganked, knowing where wards are, different stuff like that. If you have a coach actually watching the game, even if like it wouldn't, of course, wouldn't be the entire vision of the game because that'd be stupid, but just his team's perspective, they just watch the mini map the whole time. They can time flashes and teleports to the second because they can sit there with pen and paper, mark it down. It's up here. Watch it. Tell you the team when it's up, and yeah, you can like make it to where you're like, okay, you guys need to do this. You guys need to push this. This person do this. This person do this. But I think it's too. Well, I guess anytime you say that, it's not too big of an advantage because both teams have the same thing going. But I think it'll take a lot away from the players what they have to do in the game.
But even still, like when you look at the CS:GO scene, you have the team captain who, yes, you have the coach who say, okay, don't forget that team knows how to do this, or they like to do this very often. And yes, in CS:GO they still do have a mini map, and you don't necessarily look at the mini map for the position of your enemies as much as you look for the position of your teammates. So if your teammate dies at the B site, and you know your backside is compromised at that point in time, so you're looking at your mini map to figure out what you need to cover next. So it's almost in the same concept of they just got ganked, now I know that their jungle's top lane. But I just think,
and like I said, it's just so much easier for somebody to do that out of game than in game because they have to be paying attention to their CS or something like that instead of, oh hey, there's somebody in the jungle coming to gank you. Like they can't be looking right there at that point in time. And like I said, it'd be definitely an advantage, but it would be equal because both teams have the same advantage. So I mean, I don't think it's something that I'd like to see. I don't think that's a big thing, but it would make the coaching position
more vital,
bigger. It'd make it a lot bigger influence than it is now.
Yeah, it really stressed the need for a statistic name. You know, something that you can actually, a person who can adapt on the fly and make up a strategy and adjust. So.
Oh, I'm getting a phone call. 1 sec.
Alrighty. How's everybody doing tonight? I can't see any of you guys' chats talking. I get to have the blessing of running the presentation.
So you gotta have both up. All right, I gotta go get the door real quick, and then I'll be right back, and then we can move into next week predictions.
Alrighty. Let's see if I can. Oh, what's this? GG's our garb. Alright, Blitz, I understand you. How long has this been a thing? Rainbow Awesome. Today, actually. This has been a thing as of today. Some of the analyst chicks this year is fucking smoking-ish. Blitz, those aren't analyst chicks. Those are the referees. They stand back there and they judge based on what you're doing. Make sure you don't plug in any viruses or stuff. You're not taking off your headset and listening to the casters saying, "Oh, he's just got red buff at blah 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 time," or they're judging things. Make sure you're not cheating. The referees in the back. There's the Avali. She's the NA interviewer. She's like the Shocks, NA Shocks. All right.
So moving on.
Get back to
week 4.
All right, so week 4. So this is our lineup. This is what we got going on in the week 4. First match of the week, TSM Clutch. What do you think?
I'm
gonna write this down, by the way. So we're gonna post something up somewhere on Reddit or something of what we chose.
Yeah, I'd say TSM. We'll take out Clutch.
Why?
They've been playing better. 100 Thieves is a better team than Clutch, or about even, I think. TSM is figuring out their stuff. They should be able to take out Clutch. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna agree. It just Clutch does not look convincing enough, and Bjergsen doesn't even have to have a good day. I don't think. They should be. Now the most interesting game I see on this first day is the next game. This is the first time C9 and Team Liquid will meet. Liquid has had the fastest games. Cloud9's more towards the slower games.
I think that'll be the closest. Well, not the closest, but the best 2 teams against each other, because there'll be other games that are going to be really close also. But
who do you take and why?
Yeah, it's a hard one.
It is. It's hard.
I think Jensen and Po Belter match up really well. I think Hooney probably edges out Licorice with more experience.
This is Impact. Sorry, Impact.
Yeah. Impact. Same. Still.
Same.
Impact still more experience than.
He knows how C9 works too.
Licorice. Yeah, it'll be a very small advantage, I think. But then you got Mike Sven Skaren against X-Smithy.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be close. I think they'll both probably pick tank jungles, so that'll be a little bit closer. Double Lift against Sneaky is always close also, and then Ollie and Smoothie I think are also closely matched. I think the entire team overall is closely matched. It'd be very difficult to call. Man, that's a very difficult one to call, because C9 usually flops a little bit against better teams or just higher up teams, but they also come through sometimes. They're just very up and down, and Liquid's been showing up a lot, but Liquid... C9 lost to who, though? C9 lost to...
Echo Fox,
and so did Liquid. Right?
No, Liquid only lost 100 Thieves.
100 Thieves, okay.
Yeah.
Seeing 100 Thieves and...
It's weird. It's this weird triangle. We don't know who's the best right now.
After this week, we'll probably have an outstanding first place.
Yeah, because we got Liquid versus Echo Fox, their first meeting on day 2 there. That's also going to be interesting. But
I'm going to give this one to C9 because I'm a C9 fan, and I think they're going to win. I
think if C9 wins, they win through the bottom lane, because I think the Sneaky Smoothie combo is just... They might be equal, but I feel like they've been together longer. They're more coordinated, and they might work off of that more. Same skill level, just more coordination. Yeah. Plus, Sneaky's... Double Lift has his ups and downs. Sneaky's been like this constant, steady, amazing ADC ever since he came into the scene. And it's hard to say he's going to have a bad game. Like, nobody can even think about him having a bad game. It's so rare.
Yeah. Yep.
So we'll
take C9 on that. Optic against CLG. That's going to be another close game.
Well, hold on.
The way they match up. Zig against Darshan, I think. Darshan's a little bit better.
Depends on what they're playing. Because they're both like carries. Like if we have Zig on Kled and the old famous Jax Darshan.
I still think Darshan edges out Zig. Yeah. Rainover and Acadian. Acadian I thought was a super good jungler, and Rainover was a little bit washed up, I believe. But I think those two are really close. Huhi and Power of Evil. I think Power of Evil is a better mid laner team player. But Huhi has really good games also. Arrow and Stixay are really, really close too. Biofrost and Lemonation, I think Biofrost is a little bit better, so I give it to CLG winning over Optic Gaming.
I mean, everything points to that, but for the sake of me being different, I'm gonna say Optic. Just because I want to ride
Just to
the
be
Optic.
different, you don't want to be. Don't try to be different. You want to be right. Don't just try to be different.
See, there's only one thing. See if we both choose it, and then we're both wrong at that point. Whereas this way, one of us has to be right.
Well, then I'll just beat you because I picked a better team.
Well, I'm gonna say Optic just because I think they're actually underrated. I think if they can get their act together, like they are winning in half of these games. They just can't close. Can't close.
I think they have a good team, but I think CLG is gonna edge them out.
Yeah, I think they need to learn how to close. If they can close this week, if they did some crazy stuff in scrims this week and figured out, hey, we know how to actually finish a goddamn game. Call them. Yeah. I'll say that.
All right, so we got 100 Thieves and FlyQuest. 100 Thieves, just mark it down.
Yep. Same.
Don't really have to talk about it.
There's no need to even say anything
Echo
about
Fox
that one.
against Golden Guardians, same thing. Just mark it down. Echo Fox is winning. Golden Guardians, they're not going to win against any of the top few teams. We'll see who else they play against. C9 against FlyQuest. Just mark down C9 because they're winning.
All right, day 2. Into day 2 already. C9 takes it.
They're definitely beating FlyQuest. I don't think they lost to FlyQuest last year. They got a better team this year. FlyQuest has a worse team.
You know what would be really funny is if we saw Golden Guardians beat 100 Thieves.
That would be pretty funny, but it's not going to happen. So 100 Thieves is winning that one.
All right, now we get the
I'd love to say
rivalry.
I like Golden Guardians. I thought they were going to be a top 3 team because I liked all the players they had except for Deftly. I thought Matt was decent. I thought Contracts was good. I thought Lolo was good. I thought
they could show something.
But yeah, I thought they were going to be up in the top 4. I thought they were top 4 before the season started. But yeah, no, not anymore.
So here's the old LCS rivalry season.
Yeah, that's another close game, but I'm going to give it to TSM winning the 2. I think they're going to keep on winning until they match up against C9 Liquid. I'm going to say maybe Echo Fox again. So
I'm going to say CLG because CLG always plays on a different level when they play TSM. They could be playing dumpster all season long. They could have lost the whole half of the season, but then somehow every TSM game, it's like, oh my god, where the hell did this Korean CLG come from? It's crazy.
Yeah, but that's when they had Afromu, and Afromu was like the big,
shot caller. He called everything.
He was like the big, that was the big rivalry was with Afromu. Now it's everybody's different on CLG. It's not even there anymore. I don't think so. I'm gonna go with TSM on that one.
You still got the Reggie Hotshot though. Reggie Hotshot rivalry.
Yeah.
So
Liquid against Echo Fox. I think it'll be Liquid taking that one. Like I said, I don't think Echo Fox. They just don't have. They don't have the staying power in there against Liquid. I think the bottom lane, Altec, Adrian are going to get dumpstered by Ollie.
Yeah, there's no way that the bottom lane can handle double lift.
Phoenix against Poe Belter. I don't think Phoenix has shown up enough either.
One trick
the
is
top
here.
lane. Top lane's the only one that'll be a really good matchup to see. Huni against Impact. That'll be very good to see. And you got Dardoch against X Smithy, just 2 old guys going against each other in the jungle. So
yeah, Dardoch has been really good this season. I got to say that Dardoch has had some.
He's been playing really well.
Crazy plays.
All Echo Fox have been playing well, but like I said, who have they played?
They played TSM.
Yeah, they did.
Beat TSM.
That's when TSM didn't have their stuff together, and I think they're getting there.
Yeah.
So I give it to Liquid on that one.
Okay.
You gonna take Echo Fox over it?
I want to be different.
You gonna switch it up? Don't be different. Pick the right shit.
I actually agree with you on this one. I'm gonna say Liquid, just because I don't feel like. Yes, the top lane might win. Impact or Huni might be better than Impact on carries because Impact's a really good tank. So Huni might win that earlier, but the team play of Liquid just because they're all so seasoned. And
yeah. So here's the next one is another close one. Optic Clutch. That one's going to be very close.
Clutch. I'm going to say Clutch just because I feel like Fabiven was better than. I feel like to me Fabiven has always been better than PoE, Power of Evil.
See, I think Power of Evil's one of the best. And just from last year watching Misfits climb at the end and seeing them in Worlds, I think Power of Evil's better. He hasn't done well with his team yet this year. Acadian Lyra, I think those two are kind of close. I give Acadian a little bit of edge. Zig Solo, really close. Apollo, Arrow. I think Arrow.
Arrow takes that
one's
one.
really close, but I think Arrow does. And Lemon Nation, Hakuho, I think those are about even also.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Optic Gaming in this one. So we have 3 differences, and that's TSM against CLG, Optic Clutch, and the Optic CLG also, which I think is funny because you picking Clutch over Optic, but you picked CLG over.
Yeah, because I feel like.
Or no, you picked Optic over CLG.
I picked Optic over CLG, and then Clutch over Optic.
But I think CLG beats Clutch.
I think Clutch.
I think CLG did beat Clutch last week. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. So
we can back up here. I can back up in the.
I mean, it's right. It's right there. Clutch against 100 Thieves lost. Clutch against C9 lost. Okay, so
we don't know. The Optic lost both too, but
CLG beat Echo Fox last week too, so CLG's winning it, dude. CLG's winning that one, and then like I said, they might actually beat TSM. That's the one that I might be wrong on, but I think we're gonna go 100% this week.
All right, well that tallies up our week. I will post those onto Reddit, and I'll also put it onto the Night Kid Reddit as well. So moving on, so. Along with this week, I'm looking back. This is looking back at last week's, picks and bans, highest presence, champions, all that crap. Who do we think we're going to see more of this week, based on what we saw last week? There's still going to be an 8.2, so everything should still be the same. They're not going to 8.3 until next week.
Okay. I think you're going to see just as much Zach. Probably a little bit more Sejuani in there. She'll probably come up on one of the lists there. Zoe's gonna have the same presence banned every game or picked. I mean,
until 8-3.
I'm surprised there's not 100% on there. I don't know what game she didn't get banned and then didn't get picked also, because that's only one game.
Yeah. 26 bans, GP, 3 picks. Yeah.
GP will stay in there. I think everybody still likes him. Nar is gonna be up there. Braum, if they, I don't know. I think like Braum will probably stay up there too. People like him as a.
I feel like we should see Thresh or Leona coming in.
Leona,
I feel like Leona.
I don't know.
They've
already been picking Braum over Thresh and Leona, so I don't know if we will see.
It's like Alistar and
that coming up.
Alistar and Braum right now are two big supports.
I think you'll see Callista less. I'm surprised she's banned that much because I don't see her played that often.
It's just because the way we have it right now, and with these aggressive tank engaging supports like Braum, who can jump in and he can change a fight with his ult, and Alistar can jump in and engage. Callista gives so much utility to that. Oh, you didn't get a good engage. Okay, reset. We'll do it again. Or okay.
Yeah, I think Callista will still be prevalent, but you might see another 80 carry pop in there. Kog'Maw will most likely stay just because how his late game presence is. But with the win rates, you might see more Zach and more Evelynn.
100% Evelynn. Do you think she'll lose?
But I don't know if she'll get played that much more either. But yeah, you'll probably see a loss on Evelynn if they continue to pick her. Talia is up in there because Bjergsen played her both games because they changed their strategy to late game, block off the turret and kill the turret, get a little bit ahead or stay calculated. And Bjergsen was just like, I can't carry this shit, so I'm going to carry it through getting objectives. Yeah. So I think you might see Bjergsen pick up Talia a couple more times, so you'll still see her getting the wins.
Yeah.
Cassiopeia, I mean, only 4 picks out of
10 games.
What? No.
This is last week.
Yeah, this is last week.
No, this is at the split. Sorry, this is Champions of the Split.
Yeah, this is the whole time.
Yeah, all time.
you might not even see Cassiopeia this weekend. Azir, you're going to see a few more times. He'll be depends on what game he gets picked in. I don't think he's that OP. I think there's plenty of counters to him. He'll be about the same.
If Phoenix can get him, Phoenix gonna take his one trick, of course.
That's true. Yeah. And then you got Tristana. Her win rate will always be high because a lot of these games are going really late. Like they go really late game, and Tristana is going to be one of the bigger late game, just like Kog'Maw.
Her objective killing is just
and
crazy.
Cody Sun's going to pick her probably any chance he gets, and a couple other people play
Double
her.
Lift likes it because he can go in, he can go back out, he can go back in, he can go back out.
Yeah.
That's what he loves to do.
Yep.
All right, moving on. The next one.
We'll see that move a little bit, but it'll be very.
So this is moving into the last part, which is kind of our fantasy LCS. So right now, these are our players for the fantasy LCS. Well, these are the players of the split stat wise. Their fantasy LCS scores are a little different, but
So if you got elimination keen or high, might want to drop those because one, they're not going to win games, and two, they're going to die a bunch.
Yes, go ahead. And
the vision score doesn't matter at all. I don't think for fantasy. I don't think that's
no. I don't think that does anything. Well, I mean,
the highest KDA, all three are Team Liquid because they have the most kills, most.
Just because they have the bloodiest games.
Fastest games, yeah. Well, not the bloodiest games, but just the fastest games, which means in a fast game, you're getting a bunch of kills to be able to push everything out and not die. Kill participation, I don't think that matters too much in fantasy. It just means... Because, I mean, you can have a high kill participation in a 3-kill game. You know what I mean? You're still not going to do anything.
You could be all of your team's 3 kills. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Most assists, though, that's definitely in there. Adrian's a good pickup for that because they've been winning a lot.
Dardoch. That says a lot about Dardoch this split though, because last split he was not. Last split he was not even anywhere near the top for this, or even anywhere near being close to his teammates with helping them.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see more junglers in there because it's usually the supports that are been playing roaming supports that get more assists, but
you're getting
the junglers seem to just be helping out a lot of the times.
You're getting these assassins,
more tanks.
Assassins and tanks, right?
It's less.
So they're either in the fight helping to tank it away, or they're the ones starting the fights, or they're in on every fight trying to kill somebody. So yeah, moving down. So these are going into the patch highlights. So these are the few things that I pointed out that I saw that were really crazy. So the biggest thing that we're seeing in the ruins, besides all the other minute changes in the the cooldowns or the percentages. So the inspiration changes.
Yeah, nobody having magical footwear and stopwatch.
No stopwatch, magical footwear anymore. It's gone. Your biscuit now goes down, so you can have a biscuit in magical footwear, but now you have to make that choice.
Everybody's still going to run stopwatch. They're not going to get rid of you don't take footwear over stopwatch though. Stopwatch is still going to be always. And magical footwear will be on a couple people who don't think they need stopwatch, which is nobody. So magical footwear will just not get used. It's just not going to be used.
They also lowered the resale value for those items because it used to be.
Yeah, it was like 20. It was like 20 gold. I just sold it today, and it was like 20 gold. And I was like, okay, well, that's worthless, but at least I got a stopwatch out of it.
Yep. So.
And you just have to use your stopwatch properly is the big thing. It's not going to change anything for LCS because they always use their stopwatch at good times, but in solo queue, your stopwatch becomes even more useless now because you only get 20 gold, and most people use it right before they die in a situation where they're going to die anyway. Yeah. And that's 90% of the time that you see it in solo queue is terrible uses of the stopwatch.
Well, so the thing is, like, with that. It sucks for some of the lower tier players, especially in solo queue, because now, let's say you wanted that stopwatch for that early game security, but you're not really playing a champion who needs to have any of the stopwatch items. So the
stopwatch items still cost more. Like you only get a certain amount toward the stopwatch items anyway.
Yeah.
And they've made it to a point where every champion can use a stopwatch item. Any AP can use a Zanya's. Any tank can use the stone plate, and anybody else can use a guardian angel. So there's no champion who can't. Like there's people who won't build into a stone plate.
Yeah.
But if you have the stopwatch, then you still can or should. So I mean, they made it to where stopwatch goes into any champion type. So keeping a stopwatch is still decent, but I mean, it's that saves you that one time. You might get a couple kills off it. You get somebody else to kill. You save your life off of it, and that's worth the 300 gold you get or 300 gold they don't get, and then you get 20 for selling it or whatever. So it's still worth taking, and it still has a lot of good uses, but people just don't know how to use it. So you're going to see a lot, but not using properly.
So next thing, this is really big. We see it in pro play all the time. There's been a few fails, but now you can't. It's not going to happen anymore. No more rise ulting and Zonias to pull yourself away. As soon as you Zonias in your rise ult stops.
Yep. So that's a good one. I think the next one's pretty big too. Is your soldier's auto attack drawn minion aggro is huge because he can't just sit there and poke you over and over without taking his own damage.
Yep.
It's a big reason why people don't auto attack when they can.
Yeah, they just use their soldiers.
Well, with anybody, you don't auto attack somebody because you know you're going to take too much minion damage, or you're going to take more damage than what you just did. And then the Swain rework.
What do we think? What do you think? Is he going to be viable? Is he going to work?
He looks pretty OP. I don't know if he's going to see pro play, but he's definitely more of a pro play champion now
than he was because he has so much utility.
We won't see him for another 3 or 4 weeks. Just the him being able to anybody who CCs pull toward him. Then being able to CC, like the vision's going to be pretty big and a little bit of damage.
Even just that quick insight, like if you're in mid lane, like where's the jungler? Oh, he's not red. He must be on blue.
I mean, you can have the raptors warded, and then you see him raptors and you see him move away, and then toss that on him real quick and be like, all right, he's moving this direction. And so that one's big. The ult is basically the same, except it does more damage at the start and at the end, depending on how many stacks you have up. And then the root is a lot better too, because it's not like oh look, it's on the ground, let me flash out or jump out. It's like I'm gonna throw this at you, and on the way back, if it's all the way at the end of my range, you're getting rooted anyway, or you have to move into me or sideways or something. You can't just jump out of it.
It also makes it more of a skill shot play, a little bit more mechanics into the character, I think, because now it's not just lay this down on the ground and you might get them.
Yeah, it's definitely better. And he's going to have...
Because you could throw it at a minion wave and then not even lock up the guy in a 1v1 because you might hit a minion.
Yeah, but you can lock him up and then you have your own form of CC that your passive goes off of where you pull him in.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see if people pick him up or if he gets banned out in pro play. I mean, you can just start watching the pro top laners, streamers, or mid laners and see if they start picking up Swain, because if they're playing Swain a bunch on stream, they're going to be playing him in LCS.
Yeah, definitely could see that. So this was part of that Fantasy LCS, so I don't really have any images or graphics for these, but we can go through it. So I'd definitely say, like we were saying before, bench, what was it with all those people? Gosh, let's go back up.
For this week, you want to bench
all the FlyQuest and that little
bench anybody on FlyQuest because they're not winning the game this week. You want to bench anybody you got on Golden Guardians. They're not winning anything this week. The only person that you might want to play is High because he has high kill participation. So he might, if you don't have another option at mid lane, you want to put in High for that for sure.
Looking at this, I think that I mean, who is Fox playing?
You want to start C9 and TL. TL is going to have a lot of.
I think
they've always had the fast games, and Cloud9 does slow games, and that's their first matchup. It's probably going to be a pretty bloody and drawn out long game, and I think they're both going to score plenty of fantasy points. C9
I think if you have
TL.
if you have 100 Thieves, start your 100 Thieves players. They have an easy week. I think that's going to give you some good points.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be some good points. If you don't have those, next one would probably be TSM because like you said, we can definitely see them beating CLG, but then they should honestly beat Clutch. So those are two for sure wins you're thinking that they're gonna have there. When it comes to Cloud9,
I'll tell you who you want. I'll tell you who you want to start on each position pretty much because you don't want to just start whole teams. Your top lane, you definitely want Licorice, Huni, Impact, or Hanser. Those are the 4 top laners you definitely want. Junglers, you're going to want Sven. You're going to want Dardoch. You're going to want Xsmithy. I'd say those are the 3 that are going to do well this week for jungle, and possibly Acadian.
Okay.
For mid lane, Pobelter, number 1 always. If you have Pobelter, start him. He's going to do well even if they lose. Start Pobelter. Jensen Bjergsen always does well also.
Yeah, you should always guys
and last pick, Power of Evil. For mid lane, and Phoenix. Phoenix has been doing really well also.
Yeah, Phoenix is up there with the
Power of Evil
top
below
points of the
those
split.
ones. Yeah, and then for AD carry, Cody Sun always scores a lot of
You
points.
want Double Lift, definitely, because he's always... Double Lift is in the kills.
Scoring a lot of points. Basically
All-tech.
everybody from TL, honestly, except for... let's see. Except for X-Smithy and Ollie, you want the rest
surprisingly
of
enough,
TL.
I would also say you want to... If you have All-Tech, start All-Tech, because he's been doing really good, and despite his team not doing so well sometimes, he's still always in the kills. He's always got really good CS. So he's actually, I think, if he's not the top scorer this so far, he's one of the top 5 for the split, right? I can't look at the thing yet. So
I'd say maybe start Sven, because I think Sven's gonna do really well this week. And then supports, your best supports are gonna be Mithy, since he's gonna come through. Adrian gets a lot of assists always. Biofrost is decent, and Afromu is on and off, but I think they're going to be winning this week, and Cody Sun will do well. So Afromu and Smoothie.
And if you're playing with somebody who's not in this stream, tell them that they should play Matt. Tell them that Matt's going to do amazing next week. Definitely start Matt. If you don't have him, go pick him up. He's doing crazy. He's going to play ADC and get some points.
You're an idiot. He's going to do awful.
All right, so that kind of concludes all of our talking points for this week. Do you want to go through power rankings real fast, or do you want to just kind of cut it?
Well, that was kind of honestly that was kind of power rankings a little bit. We need to get, if we want to do that, we need an actual graphic, and I'll do my power rankings for each one. You do yours, and we'll just put them both up on the same thing.
All
and
right.
then next week, get your do the text box a little bit bigger, and maybe the camera is a little bit smaller because it's difficult to read some of the boxes on there. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys got a little bit of insight, agree or disagree, and got a little bit out of it. If you're not into NA LCS, maybe that gets you into it a little bit. But we'll be doing this for the next couple weeks at least, and we'll get a little bit better at it and have a little bit more stuff to talk about. Get excited for this week coming up, because we'll get all the
there's gonna be some good
predictions
games
to see and all that type of stuff. There are 4, I'd say, really good games to watch this weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
And for all of your LOL esports news or any information and stats, go ahead and check out the LOL Wikipedia. That's where I found a lot of my stats and information. It's always updated as live as possible as it can be. News is in there as soon as possible as can be. Check it out. And don't forget to check out, if you're on my stream, check out Night Kid's stream. If you're on his, come over here for a second. I'm only going to stream once a week anyway.
Come over here for a second.
But all right.
So we'll be doing that.
So this will conclude this week, and hopefully we get better and see you guys next week.
Yeah.
All right. You can go ahead and switch your camera back over. I am turning this off.
Later.